and welcome back. My name is Avery. I am a holistic nutrition health coach, and today I'm going to be talking about the Paleo Diet. It is a diet that I did for many years. This is kind of my review of it, my experience. I'm going to be talking about the benefits that I saw and maybe some cons of the diet as well. So let me just jump right into it. Basically, the diet is known as the Paleo Diet. It is also known as like the caveman diet. With the Paleo Diet, you're not supposed to have any dairy, you're not supposed to have any grains, beans or legumes, refined sugar, or processed food. So you might be thinking, well, what can I eat? And you can eat a lot. I didn't feel super deprived. It was challenging. It definitely was challenging, especially if you're eating a standard American diet and then you're going to go to a paleo diet. It is kind of extreme. They're two very different diets. So essentially you're supposed to be eating lots of lean meat, lots of whole foods, veggies, fruits, anything that grows from the earth. And I was doing this diet because I was going through a gut healing journey back in 2019. And I did do the paleo diet for probably like 4 years. There were definitely some years where I was really strict on the diet, and then some other years, like the last few years, I wasn't as strict, and I can talk about that too. But basically, I did the diet because I was trying to heal my gut. I had candida overgrowth, I had leaky gut, and I had SIBO, and so I turned to this diet because I was recommended by my doctor to try this diet. So that's kind of why I initially started the diet. It's because she recommended me to do so. But really it was just to benefit my overall health and help heal my gut. So that's basically why I started to do the diet. Now, I was eating kind of whatever I wanted to. Basically your standard American diet. I was going out to eat, I was eating McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, like I was eating fruits and vegetables and what I would consider like healthy food, but I was definitely eating fast food a lot beforehand and not really too concerned with labels or if I was buying organic or where I was sourcing the meat from. So I was very uneducated when it came to food before I started the paleo diet, but I really dove in headfirst and learned so much. And I share on this channel my journey through all of that as well. So I will link some videos down below that kind of go over what I eat in a day on a paleo diet. So now I'm going to be going over the benefits that I saw. So definitely saw a huge improvement in my skin. My skin is doing pretty good right now. I do have a little bit of breakouts. I don't even know if you can really tell, but huge improvement to where I was coming from. I had a lot of fungal acne and a lot more hormonal breakouts. I'll still get some hormonal breakouts before I start my period, so I'll still see them kind of pop up here and there. But I did notice when I was on the paleo diet, it got a lot better. I definitely think that reducing my sugar intake, reducing the processed food helped so much, as well as like all the other things that I was eliminating, like the grains, the gluten, the dairy. Those were the things I think really helped kind of reset my body, reset my gut. So huge improvement in my skin. And the next thing I want to talk about is my sleep. I think my sleep improved a lot. I was waking up less. I was sleeping more soundly at night, I would say. I didn't have a huge problem with sleep before the paleo diet, but I did notice that it would take me a long time to go to sleep sometimes. As far as my gut health goes, I got rid of candida overgrowth and I got rid of leaky gut. I did go on more specific protocols and cleanses while I was trying to get rid of those two things. Like there's a whole candida diet that I did that is even more restricted than the paleo diet, but I do think doing the paleo diet a year leading up to doing the candida cleanse really helped my body, and it made it so the die-off symptoms weren't so intense as well. And it just really completely changed my gut health and therefore impacted my mental health. As you know, that gut-brain connection, the gut-brain axis, it's so important, and it's real, you guys. It's a real thing. So I really noticed a huge difference when I started the diet. I was having some panic attacks, I had anxiety, I had depression, and when I started the diet, I really did notice a huge difference. Now, I don't really remember exactly how long it took, but I want to say within a few weeks, I could notice a difference with my mental health. And I mean, now it's 2024, it's 5 years later, and I still have some up and down days. I would say I'm not as depressed as I was. I do think that diet plays a huge role in your mental health, but it's so much more than that. It's your lifestyle, it's how you're spending your day, it's how you're waking up, it's how you're going to sleep, it's who you're surrounding yourself with. So it's not all about the diet, but I would say what you're putting into your body contributes so much to your mental health. If you do have anxiety and depression, definitely try the diet and just see if it works, because it absolutely worked for me when it comes to those problems. I want to mention my fatigue. So I was having to take naps every single day before I started the paleo diet. And I did have some vitamins and mineral deficiencies. So keep that in mind. Definitely get your blood test. Getting your blood tested is just the best thing. I try to do it once or twice a year, just like a full blood test. Usually your insurance, if you have insurance, usually your insurance will pay for most of it. And if it's like a standard blood test, and it really gives you so much insight. I mean, this is kind of off topic to the paleo thing, but I just want to mention that I did have some vitamin and mineral deficiencies that did contribute to me having extreme fatigue, but changing my diet 100% helped with that. Just eating those nourishing whole foods every day on a regular basis, very consistently, I was able to get those nutrients from the food. And when I started healing my gut was able to absorb the nutrients even better. So those were like the main benefits that I found. So benefits in my skin, benefits in my mental health, my sleep, and my gut health. So tons of different benefits that I found from the paleo diet. Now, how strict was I on the paleo diet? Like I said, I was pretty strict for 1 or 2 years. I was literally not eating any dairy, any grains, any beans and legumes. Now with the refined sugars, I was pretty strict on that. If I were to have sugar, it would be more like honey or coconut sugar. It wasn't just like cane sugar or brown sugar. If I wanted a sweet treat, I would lean towards baking something with those, or I would have some fruit or some dates. Dates are amazing, by the way, if you want something sweet. For the processed food part, that's hard. That's hard to not have any processed food. I mean, there's a lot of processed food. For instance, there's this brand called Simple Mills, and they make these crackers, and the crackers are grain-free. They're made from, I think, like almond flour. Amazing crackers. So I was still eating things like that. They do make grain-free cereals, and they make grain-free crackers, and obviously I still ate some chips. So I wasn't too strict in the processed food department, but I did my best. I was very strict though when it came to the no grains. That was something that I was really focused on, is having the no grains. So if it was processed but still was made from like almond flour, I would have it. And I love to cook and I love to make my own food, so I didn't really find it that challenging to do the diet. If I was going out to eat, it became a little bit more challenging because you're having to ask a lot of questions. You're having to look up the restaurant before you go and see what kind of food options they have. So that was a little bit challenging, like going out to eat, but like I said, I love cooking, so I didn't really find it too difficult to stick with that diet. And that is one of the cons that I have, is just it is restrictive. Like, you're kind of restricting a lot of amazing food groups, and there's a lot of benefits that come from those food groups, like beans and legumes. They're great source of protein and fiber, especially if you're vegan. And so when I wanted to kind of stop doing the paleo diet and reintroduce these foods, I had gone so long without having them. When I ate them, my body was kind of overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, what are you eating? Like, what is this? And I found that when you're reintroducing food into your diet, like let's say beans, if I'm having some black beans, try like a tablespoon or two, not like a cup of black beans. What I'm saying is introduce it slowly, just a little bit at a time. Give your body a break in between having it again, and then your body won't have such a crazy reaction and make you think that you can't have that food ever again because your body's reacting. Your body is probably reacting to the amount of food that you put into it instead of what exactly you put into it. But yeah, the cons would be that it's pretty restrictive. You are cutting out a lot of food groups that can be beneficial for you. So I would say those are the two biggest cons. And I really struggled with the no dairy. I love cheese, and you can't replace cheese. I'm sorry, there is no vegan cheese out there that I personally think is as good as real cheese. Like there's just not, you can't get the flavor, the taste, the texture. It's so hard. Maybe in the future they'll come up with something different. And also the vegan cheese out there is just filled with a bunch of additives and ingredients that I can't even pronounce. So I'd rather stick with like really good high quality cheese that's from a local farm, pasture raised, 100% grass fed. That's kind of what I'm going towards now. So it is 5 years later. I am incorporating beans, love a good chickpea, love some black beans. I'm not really having them every single day necessarily, but I would say I have beans maybe once a week, once every other week. It kind of just depends. I am having cheese again, and I'm so happy about it. And I have noticed that me personally, the quality of the cheese does really matter. So I just try to get as high quality cheese as I can. I know some people don't really have access to that, but just do the best you can if you are eating dairy products. As far as the grains go, I do eat a lot of grains now. I, however, do try to have a gluten-free diet. I'm not doing that all the time. Like if I'm going out to eat, if I see the bread on the table that's just so soft, so buttery, and they have this little olive oil and balsamic vinegar dip, I'm gonna eat it. I'm not gonna restrict myself. Life is too short to do that. So eat the bread, eat the gluten. Of course, don't do that if you have like celiac disease or anything, don't do that. But I do have gluten in moderation, and I do have grains. I would say the grains that I eat the most now would definitely be rice. I eat white rice, basmati rice, and I eat gluten-free oats. Yeah, buckwheat sometimes. But yeah, I primarily try to do a gluten-free diet. As far as sugar goes, I have noticed that if I do eat a lot of sugar, I will break out 100%. And if I'm eating a lot of like refined sugar. Now, if I'm eating sugar like honey or maple syrup or coconut sugar, I've noticed that my body can digest it better, and my body is not getting as inflamed if I stick to those kinds of sugars. But and I really try not to have sugar every single day, but sometimes you just got a sweet tooth, so I totally get it. I don't know if I mentioned alcohol. I guess we can talk about alcohol. Alcohol is something that I did cut out for a very long time. It kind of comes in seasons. Like in the summertime, I'm probably drinking a little bit more. I would say high quality alcohol is the best route to go. Do I do that every single time? No. And there's definitely still times that I go out till 2 in the morning drinking some tequila, but I do try to do it in moderation. And I know that alcohol is just not good for you. There's pretty much no benefits to alcohol. And I will notice that my skin will kind of break out. I'll feel fatigued. I'll feel crappy the next day. So I do try to still limit that as much as possible, but do it in moderation. Have a little drink if you're celebrating something, or if you're going out with a friend, or if you're having a date night or something. Do it in moderation. It's such a cultural thing and a social thing that it's really hard to cut out completely. I did do it for a while, and I felt really good while I was doing it, but it's such a social thing for me, and I enjoy being social. I am kind of a introverted extrovert, I guess. No, extroverted, I don't know actually. I would say if I've learned anything from the experience with the paleo diet is that having balance is key. Having things in moderation is going to benefit you more than you know. And I did study to be a holistic health coach at IIN, and that kind of opened up my eyes to eating in a more diverse way. So I would say focus on getting diverse range of food is gonna be the most beneficial for you. Cutting out processed food is gonna be great. Cutting down on your refined sugar, your alcohol intake, and whatever foods cause inflammation for you, maybe that's gluten and grains and dairy, but just kind of finding out what foods inflame you, what foods don't sit well with your body. Obviously that's easier said than done, but essentially coming up with your own diet instead of following some guidelines to a specific diet. Obviously the paleo diet is a great diet to start with, especially if you are on a gut healing journey. It helped me in so many ways and just kind of opened my eyes to a new way of eating. What I'm focusing on now is having more balance, having things in moderation, not being so restricted with myself, and exploring different food groups, having fun with diversity, eating a range of colorful foods, whole foods, foods that nourish me and that I love. And I do think that the paleo diet was a great way to start. And this is why I wanted to make a review of this, because it did help me in so many ways and I saw so many benefits like I mentioned in this video. But overall, I don't want to live a life forever that where I'm being restricted with certain foods. I just want to be able to go out to eat and order what looks good on the menu and not overthink it. So that's kind of where I am now, 5 years later. And that's really what I wanted to share with you guys. And I hope that you liked this video. Give it a like if you like it. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.